Girivara Hari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Girivara Hari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Rangana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Rangana Jamuna Tira Bangasari Jamuna Tira Bangasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Jaya Vishupad Paramahamsa. Trivrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace. Chiraboy Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Skandiviti Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki. Harinam Sankirtan ki. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Dainitai Gaura Primanande. All gladies to be assembled devotees, all gladies to be assembled devotees, all gladies to be assembled devotees, all gladies to see Guru and to see Gauranga, all gladies to see the Prabhupada ki. Someone can kindly tell our Gopala the light of the Goshala is unnecessarily on. Yeah. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksuramiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha Hai Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayasha badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nistreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Quick. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Sarabhyai Namaha Om Sarabhyai Namaha Om Sarabhyai Namaha Mukam karoti vasaram pangum langayate girim. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Jaidev, find out what they're doing with the cow dung. Pardon? The author of the upcoming book, Cow Tales. We have two bulls here.
Durga Puja it was too much to transport Durga Puja. Durga Puja.
We have two bulls here.
You have two bulls here, really?
You didn't hear me. You can have darshan right now.
Really?
If you just stand up, you can have darshan right here. Yeah.
Oh.
Two young bulls.
Right.
Of course. Vishwadika Mataji was in New Vrindavan for many years. She won't hear me now. And her husband is they call teamster. Anyone know what a teamster is? Yeah. They're real, walking. And she's paying obeisances to them. Teamster is someone who trains bulls. Kind of rare in modern day society today, even amongst devotees. But her husband is expert. He's been doing that for decades. And more recently, although he's quite aged right now, he was recently in Govardhan Eco Village helping to train some of their bulls there. And he's coming to Mayapur soon. So I told her the other day, as soon as we get bulls here, we purposely have bulls. If possible, he'll maybe train them to do something. Anyways, we'll see. There's a certain age where one begins to train. It's like you train children at a certain age to train bulls.
So beautiful.
Yes.
Like they're like brothers.
They look like twins actually.
Yes.
But no, they're not brothers. But they have been together since birth.
Oh, I see.
And they're pretty well around the same age. There's a whole story behind.
They're coming from.
Yes, there's a whole story behind. So yeah, right. Yes. So, okay, back to the Bhagavatam. Well, it's directly connected with the Bhagavatam. So, we are continuing to read from Canto, last chapter, which is chapter 19, entitled The Appearance of Shukadeva Goswami. Text number? 7. Yes. Iti Vyabachidya Sa Pandaveyaha Prayopavesham Prati Vishnu Padyam Dadao Mukundam Grim Ananya Bhavu Muni Vrato Mukta Samasta Sangaha Iti Vyabachidya Sapandaveyaha Prayopavesham Prati Vishnu Padyam Dadao Mukundam Grim Ananya Bhavu Muni Vrato Mukta Samasta Sangaha Iti Vyabachidya Sapandaveya त्रयोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपद्यम् ददाौ मुकुन्दं गृह्मनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तसमस्तसङ्गः निति व्यवचिद्य सपन्दवेय त्रयोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपद्यम् ददौ मुकुन्दं गृह्मनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तसमस्तसङ्गः इति व्यवच्छिद्य सपन्दवेयः त्रयोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपद्यम् ददौ मुकुन्दं गृह्मनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तसमस्तसङ्गः इति व्यवच्छिद्य सपाण्डवेयः त्रयोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपद्यम् ददौ मुकुन्दं गृह्मनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तसमस्तसङ्गः बोलो बोलो
इति व्यवच्छिद्य सपाण्डवेयः प्रायोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपद्याम् ददौ मुकुन्दान् गृह्णनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो
मुक्तसमस्तसङ्गः
इति व्यवच्छिद्य सपन्दवेयः त्रयोपवेशं प्रति विष्णुपद्यम् ददौ मुकुन्दं गृह्मनन्यभावो मुनिव्रतो मुक्तसमस्तसङ्गः
Iti, thus, Vyavachidya, having decided, Saha, the king, Pandaveyaha, worthy descendant of the Pandavas, Praya Upadesham, for fasting until death. Prati, toward, Vishnupadyam, on the bank of the Ganges, emanating from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Dadao gave himself up, Mukunda Angrim, unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Ananya, without deviation. Bhava, spirit. Munivrataha, with the vows of a sage. Mukta, liberated from. Samasta, all kinds of. Sangha, association. Before we read the purport, I think you are familiar with Vishvareta. Vishvareta, New Vrindavan.
Vishvareta?
Yeah, maybe not. Huh?
The name is very familiar, but I didn't.
He passed away yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was, information was shared. I might have seen him. I don't know if he was there in the early days or.
I'm maybe early days.
Okay. Yeah, there's early
Yeah.
days and early days.
I didn't know all the Prabhus by name like that.
Right. Yes. Uh,
But familiar name, definitely.
familiar name, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you have a name similar also.
I thought you were addressing me. Actually, there's another devotee, two devotees left their bodies from Vrindavan.
From Vrindavan.
Yes, Mother Maharani,
Oh,
and she is the wife of Devananda Pandit,
okay. Yes.
Canadian devotee.
Acha. Oh, I think yes.
Yeah, he joined in Ottawa.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna. So, actually, for because actually the message that was sent, which is natural, they were asking for the blessings of the devotees. So he must have been serving for many years. Well, maybe not always in Vrindavan. So uh, for for this devotee, we can just one time chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
and Jai Vishvareta Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Yes, who passed away in Vrindavan yesterday. His picture is here. You might remember him.
And Maharani Kijai and Devananda Prabhu is the other.
Was?
Not Devananda Pandit, but another Devananda left his body. Oh, yeah. I remember.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, text number 7. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank to fast until death and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So, freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage. Now you can all repeat with me or after me. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank to fast until death and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage. Purport. The water of the Ganges sanctifies all the three worlds, including the gods with a small g and the demigods, because it emanates from the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead Vishnu. Lord Krishna is the fountainhead of the principle of Vishnu Tattva, and therefore shelter of his lotus feet can deliver one from all sins, including an offense committed by a king unto a Brahmana. Maharaj Parikshit, therefore, decided to meditate upon the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, who is Mukunda, or the giver of liberations of all description. The banks of the Ganges or the Jamuna give one a chance to remember the Lord continuously. Maharaj Parikshit freed himself from all sorts of material association and meditated upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And that is the way of liberation. To be free from all material association means to cease completely from committing any further sins. To meditate upon the lotus feet of the Lord means to become free from the effects of all previous sins. The conditions of the material world are so made that one has to commit sins willingly or unwillingly. And the best example is Maharaj Parikshit himself, who was a recognized sinless, pious king. But he also became a victim of an offense, even though he was ever unwilling to commit such a mistake. He was cursed also, but because he was a great devotee of the Lord, even such reverses of life became favorable. The principle is that one should not willingly commit any sin in his life and should constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord without deviation. Only in such a mood will the Lord help the devotee make regular progress toward the path of liberation and thus attain the lotus feet of the Lord. Even if there are accidental sins committed by the devotee, the Lord saves the surrendered soul from all sins, as confirmed in all scriptures. And Prabhupada quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 5, text 42, without giving the translation, but I'll read the text. Sapada mulam bhajata priyasya Chaktanya bhavasya hari pareshaha vikarma yaschot patitam katanchid dhunoti sarvam ridi sanivistaha. Translation again. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all. Normally in English there's something else. Decided once and for all. It might have been omitted too fast actually until death. And sat on the Ganges on the Ganges bank to fast until death, and gave himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So, freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of the sage. Hmm. Hmm. In the Vedic culture, kings are known as Rajarshi, Rajarishi. So during their whole tenure as a king, acting and carrying out their duties as a king, they need to demonstrate both levels of qualification, means qualified king who knows so many different material sciences, how to govern, how to protect, how to fight, and simultaneously rishi, how to govern, how to protect, how to fight also based on dharma, based on the principles of dharma. Just like we see in the Battle of Kurukshetra, it's only when the conch shell blows that the fighting begins. And as soon as you hear the conch shell in the afternoon, late afternoon, that's how Grandfather Bhishma Dev was saved. Krishna was running with the broken wheel, about to kill Grandfather Bhishma Dev, and then he heard the conch shell. Sunset, no more fighting. So here it mentions how he accepted the vows of the sage. He was already a sage, of course, because he was Vaishnava. He was descendant of great personalities, the Pandavas. And he was greatly fortunate because the Jamuna, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, was close by. Therefore, he decided to take shelter of the holy, sanctified river, which by simply sprinkling water or drinking water from the Ganges, we become purified. And of course, here very clearly mentions also how he took shelter of Krishna, who is known as Mukunda, because only Krishna, no other great demigod, can award liberation, Mukunda. We can only become freed or liberated from this material world by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda. In the text, it mentions specifically how he freed himself, and generally it's very difficult for those who are in that kind of position. You know, a king, he's got surrounded by so much of opulence. He has so many servants. He has so many responsibilities. He had to perform so many activities during his whole the whole time he was taking that responsibility of a king. But he had to completely detach himself. Here it mentions from all kinds of associations. Asatsangat Tyaga, E Vaishnavasad. That is nicely explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the the sign and the test actually of a devotee. There is Sat and Asat. Sat is what is eternal. Asat, what is temporary. So the business of devotees is to always be alert and conscious, to be detached, to not be attracted to all things which will continue our bondage in the material world. We are bound up. We're bound up by the three modes of material nature. So asat sangat tyaga e vaishnava achar. Achar means that is what's the English proper word? Achar, behavior, right? Symptom, achar. Sadachar. Sadachar means good behavior. Huh?
Good behavior.
Yeah, right. Good boy. Good behavior. Yeah. Sadachar. Lord Chaitanya would emphasize on both sadachar and prasar. Asar. We should be ideal in our behavior, in our conduct. Therefore, we have what is called Vaishnava etiquette. Vaishnava etiquette is like refined, you know, refined understanding of how to deal in all kinds of situations with devotees, with non-devotees, and at the same time also for the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding the need and the importance of prasad. So here it mentions how we cannot become freed from all kinds of, let's say, negative or bad association, or freed from all kinds of material attachments, unless we fully become sinless. And Prabhupada is quoting, because this is the example here, even a great personality like Maharaj Parikshit. There's generally two ways in which we commit sin. We commit sin either willingly, intentionally, or unwillingly. Both will bring reaction. Yeah, even unwillingly, even unknowingly, even unknowingly. Prabhupada, in one purport in the Bhagavad Gita, mentions that those who are non-devotees, every bite they take is a sinful act. Every bite. Every time they eat. I mean, so a lot of sinful activities going on every day. Most people eat 3 times a day, and it takes a while to chew. Every time we bite, every time we eat, because actually, practically every single moment, every single act of non-devotees is sinful. We're forced actually by the modes of material nature to act. And when we are acting under these modes of material nature, we are simply accumulating more and more sinful reaction. And then we wonder why we have a headache, why we have a toothache, and why we suffer in so many ways. Because we are carrying a very heavy load every time we're born. We're carrying heavy load of all of our previous yet unfulfilled material desires, all kinds of different levels, gross and subtle attachments that we develop. Those attachments and those desires are become manifest in the human, only in the human form. So and it's only the human form of life that we can change the scenario. We can bring an end to all such material desires and attachments. Therefore, tyaga or renunciation, uh, which is only possible when we voluntarily perform tapasya. And tapasya begins when one is young. I mean, tapasya can begin at any time. Because sometimes the question is there, I'm very old, can I become a devotee? Fortunately, one can become a devotee anytime. Generally, it is easier to become a devotee when we are younger. Brahmachari, the whole brahmachari system in the Vedic culture, which is totally unknown in the Western world, is for that purpose, to train young boys, to train young girls in tapasya, brahmacharyena, samena dhamena cha, controlling the mind and controlling the senses. There's a direct link and connection with the mind and the senses. So here it's nicely explaining how Parikshit Maharaj, although in such position of responsibility, he just, and there are many similar examples like Bharat Maharaj also and others who, although surrounded by opulence, because they had practiced Krishna consciousness, so that is especially the test, not only for brahmacharis. Brahmacharis very often, it's like, Prabhupada, that's what he did in the early days, because in the early days, many of the devotees, I don't know what percentage, were brahmacharis. Grihastha then gradually became more prominent. But Prabhupada, he would very often give assignments that meant you have to just like give up everything and just go with nothing, usually also, to a foreign country or whatever. So means one had to learn sometimes the hard way how to become detached. But it's not only for brahmacharis. All of us, we have, we are put in such what is called reverses of life. Prabhupada likes to use that word. He uses it here in the purport also. Life is full of
reversals. Reversals.
Yes, unexpected reverses. Unexpected reverses. One more mat can be put there. Hare Krishna. Okay, no problem. Yes. Therefore, a very nice expression that all of us can benefit from. Expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected in the material world. It happens all the time to all of us, no, without exception. Unless we are totally fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord, how to become fixed? To the lotus feet of the Lord there's only one way, is to be constantly engaged in the Lord's devotional service. Therefore, satatam kirtayantumam yatantasya dridhavrataha, with great determination, unless one becomes very determined, one cannot be a devotee. Because a devotee is like, what is it? The odd person. Odd person means Majority of people are not devotees. And even generally, very often, probably most of the time, when someone somehow decides to become a devotee, even his family members will not support. Prahlad Maharaj, prime example, and so many other examples as well. So one has to be very, very, very determined. That is one of the qualities that is mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction. One has to be very utsaha, very enthusiastic, not become overwhelmed by these different reverses that will inevitably come, that must come. For some, they come more, others, they come less, but they come. That's the nature. And of course, the most difficult of all reverses will be to give up our last breath, to leave this body. How to give up our last breath, how to die, remaining focused on the lotus feet of the Lord. So therefore, at the end here, Prabhupada, although it's a very nice, actually both the verse we're reading, which is on the board, and the last verse, they have many important words that we can understand, even though it is in Sanskrit. So the word Sangha, of course, is the last word here. Samasta Sangha, Mukta Samasta Sangha, Mukta, to become freed, delivered. To break away all kinds of bad association. And generally, what is the strongest attraction and association in the material world? Family life, family relations. And of course, the center and the focus, that's why it's called Grihamedi. Prabhupada explained nicely once time, what is Medi? Who is from a farming background? Farmers. Where are the farmers?
Oh.
My God. Shame. You were living in Vrindavan.
I was living in Vrindavan.
Probably the closest to being a farmer. So, Grihamedi. Okay, those from India, most of you from India. What does Medi mean? Who knows? Intelligence. No.
Stick.
Well,
Intoxicated.
Medhi or Medhi?
Medi.
Intoxicated.
Medhi is intelligence only. Medha. So Medha Saha.
Griha Medi,
Medhi.
in the sense of Griha Medi.
Medhi.
Yeah, Medi means intelligence. He knows too much Sanskrit. I mean, so Medi, yeah, he knows. Because he's also living connected with farm, Krishna Valley. Medi means stick. And the rod, the stick. Yeah. Traditionally, they husk the rice that bulls walk around. Griha Medi. So Prabhupada explains that this word Medi, in the context of those who are materialistic grihasthas, that Medi is sex life, the strongest attachment and attraction in the material world, and that everyone's life, those who are not devotees, rotates around attraction. Attraction actually has to be there. We have to be attracted to something or to someone, because by nature we are created that way, isn't it? Krishna is the all attractive. We are created by Krishna, so we also have that feature of attraction. And when that feature or quality of attraction is not towards Krishna, then is towards Maya. There's only two, Krishna or Maya. So when we're not fully, completely engaged in activities of devotional service, connected with Krishna, devotional service means connected with Krishna, then we will be engaged otherwise, because by nature we have to be engaged. So here Parikshit Maharaj, because he was already from birth a great devotee, upon hearing the news of his being cursed to die within 7 days, immediately left his kingdom. And we were reading, I think yesterday or the day before, he firmly sat. Means he's not going anywhere. You know, he firmly sat on the banks of the Ganges. And this is going to be narrated in this chapter with the idea of, okay, what is the best way to prepare myself for what's going to happen in 7 days? This snake bird will come and just burn me to ashes. So therefore, this will, we can become successful. Our aim is to become successful like Parikshit Maharaj, to at a moment's notice, isn't it? It happens many, many times. You know, reverses in the purport. Reverses, very often they come very suddenly. We have a very nice situation in our family. We have a nice job, nice home, and then some kind of calamity happens. It happens every single moment of the day. That's the greatest calamity, of course, for which most people are not prepared for, is meeting death. So material world is called Mrityaloka, the place of death, wherein repeated birth and death constantly take place. And it is guaranteed that every time we do take birth, then so many different, not only inconveniences, but all kinds of sufferings are there. And especially in Kali Yuga is that age where you could say maximum suffering, or there's an overabundance of suffering because of previous or present sinful activities. So in the very least, Prabhupada explains, at least we have to endeavor to come to the mode of goodness. How did Prabhupada define the mode of goodness? In the Bhagavatam it mentions, Evam prasanamanaso. Mode of goodness means peaceful. Mind is peaceful. Mind is happy. Prasanna, very nice word. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. When we are practicing spiritual life, consciousness, that is meant to be a sign or symptom. So one time Prabhupada explaining how mode of goodness, actual mode of goodness means following very strictly these 4 rules and regulations. That's why we follow these 4 rules and regulations, to become situated, firmly fixed in the mode of goodness, without which we cannot properly actually practice devotional service. And without properly practicing devotional service, although Krishna Sarvasa Saham Ridi Sanidhisto. He is seated within the heart. We're too busy. Unless we are nicely, properly engaged in devotional service, then Krishna will not be inclined to reciprocate. Krishna wants to reciprocate. Krishna wants to help us become detached. Krishna wants to help us end our suffering in the material world. But we have to understand the recommended process and system that is embedded actually in the Shastra, and that we can get through the good association of devotees. So Parikshit Maharaj, of course, he was the emperor of the world. The news spread as quickly as it spread at that time. And so many people started, great personalities started to gather. And anyways, that's going to be described in the verses to come. So many sadhus, kings, mostly kings and sadhus, assembled on the banks of the Ganges. And of course, we all know what will be the most important activity that the king will be performing at that time was to hear. Shukadeva Goswami will make his appearance. That is the title of the chapter here, the appearance of Shukadeva Goswami. And what Parikshit Maharaj heard, which enabled him to fully prepare himself for that critical moment of leaving the body, is what we are hearing every day. If we attend the Bhagavatam class, and if we are attentively hearing what is being described and spoken. So I will read the text again, which is text number 7. I'll read it. Well, it's there on the board, so I don't have to read it in Sanskrit, but I'll read it in English. The translation to text 7. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank, on the bank of the Ganges, to fast until death and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So, freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage. Pandita Samardarshinaha. Everyone has to become a pandit or learned simply by accepting, hearing, and putting into practice the good instructions given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Comments? Questions?
Question.
Yes.
You said that to become Krishna conscious, we need to come to the platform of the world of goodness, which is peaceful.
Beginning.
Yes.
Yes, not the end.
Prabhupada talks about that so many times. But we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's stories of so many devotees that became Krishna conscious because they were in situations of great distress.
Yes.
So, or even great souls who were peaceful, but they put in a position of distress, and like Queen Kunti.
Yes.
Draupadi, so many. So, what is the transcendental definition of being peaceful? Obviously, they're great souls, they're great Mahatmas, devotees, but they're in distress. But also, they must have been peaceful. Because they're great devotees.
Right. Yes. Well, when you're in distress, you're in distress.
Am I in distress?
No, I'm saying
I'm always-
when, not you, when people,
I see.
when people are in distress, people are in distress. But only those who are devotees, I mean, there are shocking, unexpected, distressful kind of situations that occur. But only those who are devotees will be able to remember Krishna and take shelter of Krishna. Draupadi was put in a distressful condition. And she was trying to work it out by herself. And then finally she said, well, I have to completely, fully surrender to Krishna. So she put out her two arms. And then she became fully, completely protected.
And yet, Krishna told Arjuna, said, I don't want to fight. I won't fight.
Arjuna said.
Arjuna on the battlefield
Right.
of Kurukshetra, he would not fight.
Yes.
He wouldn't fight with his elders. And Krishna said, give up this petty weakness of heart. Do something for me.
Yes.
So
yes.
we both were there, right? We give up, but at the same time we have to.
Yes. That was a special Leela in the case of Arjuna, who it was not in one sense expected that he become, but Krishna made that arrangement, as Prabhupada explains, to because similar to Parikshit Maharaj. Also, yeah.
Maybe we can analyze the difference between living in goodness alone or by our own will or surrendering. If you surrender, the mind become naturally peaceful because you give all the anxiety to the Lord to whom you surrendered. But if you are by your own will practicing goodness, it's not the same.
Then it keeps us in.
Yeah, it keeps us in anxiety because in the material world there is no pure goodness, and as you told, you have to accept the unaccepted, which will cause you different distress one after another. So that is the word to understand. Okay, may I practice peacefulness like a Brahmana, but it's not enough. I have to surrender. Alone, I am just. So that's I think that's behind this.
And that surrendering process is above just ordinary goodness.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, there's yes.
Maharaj, in the same vein, talking about reversals, life.
Yes, wonderful topic.
Many beautiful verses that in Bhagavatam also describe, like one particular I remember is Yam yam artham upadate dukhena sukha hetave tam tam dhunoti bhagavan puman vachati yatyate. So whatever with lot of trouble and misery one creates, Supreme Personality of Godhead destroys it. And man laments for this reason. And there's another part to it. But God, man proposes, God disposes.
Right.
So reversals will be there, but it seems that there are more reversals when we don't follow the path which is ordained by the scriptures. We go against it. Right? The reversal seems to be, there are much stronger reactions.
Some devotees will argue that after I became a devotee, I have more reverses in my life.
That's a fact. Yes.
Should I continue to be a devotee? But yes, I mean, generally, those who are non-devotees, they're constantly being kicked, right and left, slapped by Maya. And so, we're creating, because we're not following dharma, we're creating all kinds of, due to our sinful activities, accumulating more and more karmic reaction. So it is Um, although we will see at times, and that's why I'm mentioning devotees sometimes will bring it up. I didn't have all these problems, before, or all of these kind of challenges that are taking place. The idea is that when we actually decide to take up the process of, especially if we take up the process more seriously, Krishna, to help us burn up all kinds of karmic reactions, will often send some very trying, create situations which may be very difficult, but which, with the knowledge that we are cultivating, we will be able uh, to pass those tests, so to
It
speak.
depends on perspective also. Like Parikshit Maharaj in the previous verse he saw that as good news.
Good news.
So it's just all about it's in the mind.
Yes.
What's favorable.
And that's the favorite question, or the most important question, most often raised question. Maharaj, what about my mind?
About my mind.
What to do with my mind? Isn't it? Because, we all have the same problem. Everything is in the mind. Everything is being carried. Mind is subtle. All of our, thinking, feeling, willing, it's all there, concentrated in the mind.
Maharaj, I have one basic question. In the purport, you said that Prabhupada is mentioning gods and demigods.
Yes.
And there is a terminology that we use for Krishna, that is Supreme Personality of God.
Yes.
So if you can just clear the basics, that what terminologies do. Why not call Krishna as just God? Why Supreme Personality of God? And if gods is being mentioned, so who are gods and who are demigods?
You have read the Bhagavad Gita? Oh, that's why. So, there are gods with a small g, and there is only one God with a big G. Ekale Ishvara Krishna. There is only one supreme Godhead. Prabhupada used the word, very nice term, actually, Godhead. The head of all gods is a big G. It's like, in a country like India or others, you have many ministers, but there's only one prime minister, isn't it? So Krishna is the prime original Godhead. And that's why even in India, although people who are born in India and are very pious in many ways, that's not immediately obvious that there is only one God, because in India especially is known for so many gods. Unending. And it's probably something that's a little difficult for most people to kind of grasp or accept. And it takes, it requires that we are introduced, especially, and it begins with Bhagavad Gita as it is. There are many Bhagavad Gitas that where actually the vast majority of Bhagavad Gitas, those who have translated, that understanding is lacking. So this is it's connected with tattva. I think it was in the purport somewhere. Krishna tattva. Tattva means what is the absolute truth. So that's a very basic. There are many gods. Demigods are described as agents. They are helping, like in Swargaloka, heavenly planets. There are different demigods. Surya Dev.
Who are these gods, the small g ones?
I'm just
Why not?
Jiva. The what we call demigods, they are jivas, but they are elevated. They have some very responsible position, etc., like that. They are helping in the universal arrangement of the world. So you have to get a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Yes.
Just a comment on that. I think you find your difference between gods and demigods. My understanding is there are different gradations of demigods. Gods are primary, the Mahadev, like Shiva is different, but still Brahma, that's God, and demigods are lesser demigods.
Right. Yeah. That within demigods there are big demigods and small. It's like among devotees, we call he's a big devotee.
So God, I was thinking gods and demigods meant, well, in the material world, materialistic, we think we're gods. And the more demoniac someone is, the more they think they're gods, and they act like they're gods.
Like Hiranyakashipu.
Like Hiranyakashipu. So
Yes.
I was thinking gods, but demigods, Prabhupada often will say, demigods are Vaishnavas. They may not be perfect, but they are servants of
Yes.
Lord Vishnu.
Prabhupada describes devotees as demigods.
Right,
Yeah. The divine and the demoniac.
right.
Yes.
I guess different ways of understanding.
Yes.
it.
Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai,
Srila
oh my
Prabhupada
goodness.
ki. Hare Krishna. 7:30 is darshan for those who may not know, followed by Guru Puja.